I am going to say something that a lot of people are going to push back on, and I want you to hear me out before you react. Rent control does not help tenants. It hurts them. I know that sounds counterintuitive. Rent control is marketed as a tenant protection measure, a way to keep housing affordable. But when you follow the economics past the first step, a very different picture emerges. Let us talk about what actually happens when rent control is implemented in a market. First, landlords cannot charge market rent. That sounds like a win for tenants, but here is the downstream effect. When a landlord cannot earn a market return on their investment, the incentive to maintain the property evaporates. Why invest $10,000 in upgrades when you cannot recover that investment through rent? You cannot, so the property deteriorates. The tenant who was supposedly protected is now living in a declining asset that no one is motivated to improve. Second, when profitability drops below a sustainable threshold, landlords exit the rental market. They sell. They convert rentals to condos. They leave units vacant rather than renting them at a loss. Every landlord who exits the rental market removes supply from a market that is already undersupplied. Less supply means higher rents for the units that remain. The housing crisis deepens, not in spite of rent control, but in part because of it. Third, rent control creates a two-tier rental market. Long-term tenants in rent-controlled units pay below market rates. New tenants entering the market face dramatically higher rents because the landlords who remain have to compensate for losses elsewhere. The people rent control was designed to help. Young people, new families, lower income renters trying to enter a market end up paying the highest prices. Now, I want to be clear about something. I am not saying tenants do not deserve protection. They absolutely do. And I am not saying landlords are always right. They are not. What I am saying is that artificially controlling prices in a market creates distortions that ultimately make housing less available and less well-maintained for the very people we are trying to protect. The real solution to housing affordability is not price controls, it is supply. More rental units entering the market, better tools for landlords to maintain affordable housing profitably, and more support for the independent landlords who provide nearly half of all rental housing in North America, not through institutional investors, but through individual people like you and me who own 1, 2, or 5 properties. At Mellow 7, we believe that when landlords are better equipped with better management tools, better financial insight, and better systems, they can maintain higher quality housing at competitive rents. Not because they are forced to by regulation, but because it makes good business sense. Happier tenants stay longer. Lower turnover means lower costs. Lower costs mean the landlord can maintain rent at a competitive rate. Better management creates a virtuous cycle that helps everyone. This is the conversation the housing debate needs to be having. Not demonizing landlords, not pretending that price controls solve supply problems, but investing in the systems, tools, and support structures that help independent landlords succeed, because when they succeed, tenants get better homes. What do you think? Do you agree that rent control ultimately hurts housing markets, or do you think I am getting this wrong? I want to hear your perspective in the comments. Let us have the real conversation. And if you are a landlord who wants better tools to manage your properties effectively and keep great tenants long term, visit mellow7.com. That is what we are built for.